Hey there. I'm noticing something about myself, and I know I'll come to terms with it eventually. But first, I just want to name it, because that's what I like to do. I like to put a name on things, so then that way, on emotions and things. So then that way I can at least start facing it. And I tell you, it makes a big difference. Once you put a name on something, you can accept it for what it is. So that's what I like to do here. And if you're a fan of that, then you'll see that I name a lot of stuff. Um, and and hopefully we can get better because of it. So I have a hard time staying present and holding space the way that I want to for the people that I love the most. And I know that sounds kind of weird or odd or maybe even crazy. Like, these are people that are closest to you. Um, Not only these are the people that's closest to you, but because these are the people that's closest to you, won't you also need to rely on them at some point? And so when I'm really supposed to be there for them, I struggle. And it's not with the big stuff. That part I'm pretty good with. We grown. We know how to be available for people when they are in a season of grief or when they're in a season of heartbreak, or when they're in a season that they've lost their job. That kind of stuff I can show up for. Um, it's the slow burning stuff that gets me. It's the quiet dullness in someone's life that I see them struggling with. Um, it's the long pauses that I see, um, where nothing technically or big is wrong. Um, when they don't know what's happening or what to do next. Um, and especially when they've been in it for a while. That really, um, the more we sort through those kinds of things. So, at any rate, you can look at them, you can see that they're drained, they're tired, they're depleted, um, and life really isn't rising up to meet them, to carry them, the way that we know that life sometimes can. Um, there's something in them that they're not facing, and when you look at them, you can see it. I can see how certain habits are quietly pulling the life out of them. I can see how avoidance is costing their energy. I can see how their patterns are shrinking them in the world. And I want better for them. So I'll talk to them. They'll listen. They'll want to talk. Um, they'll want to talk about what they need, so that they can change the situation. And again, it's like the small things. So it might be eating habits, that are slowly working against them. Um, it might be the way that they show up in other relationships that they have, and how they're showing up is actually causing the relationship to erode. So, not something big that requires dramatic, on the ground type of. My alarm's going. Hold tight. Um, sor- Sorry. So I'm back. I have to set alarms for everything because Lord help me if I don't put an alarm, then it's not gonna get done. Um, so it's something. It's not like the big things. It doesn't require like a big dramatic conversation, but instead, it's something that just requires you to be honest with yourself. And I know that can be hard. I know that can be hard, but I'm telling you, the payoff for it, the reward for pushing yourself through, the reward for facing yourself is it's like gold on the other side. So, and because I know it, I'm really not proud that I have so little patience for how slow the process can be for the people that I love the most, um, when I'm trying to hold space for them. And that, in fact, even talking, like I said, I don't know if I said this already, but it embarrasses me to, that that's something that I have such a hard time um, sitting through. So instead of digging in with them, instead of me staying steady, I pull back. Not because I don't care, um, but because they're not changing the way that I think that they should. And I mean, that's really hard for me to say. I tell myself things like, "Oh, okay, well, you've gotten tired, or you already said your piece about it, and people got to pick it up when they're ready for it, and um, they got to want it for themselves, And those things are true. That is definitely true. But underneath it, I think my discomfort is with watching folks not um, dial into their emotional trauma. Um, because I think there's a reward for it. There's a payoff to it when you do. Um, I think that they truly can turn a corner, and things would improve. And improvement doesn't happen overnight, um, but you just know that things will improve. So what I've been wondering with is, what are those things in me that I need to face to be better at holding space for the people that I am closest to? And I'm seeing that it's about four things that I captured. Um, and I'm going to talk through them in no particular order. And I'm going to start with the irritation. Um, the irritation that shows up when I see them stay stuck longer than I think that they should. For me, the time comes when my compassion quietly turns into judgment, and I catch myself thinking, I couldn't live like this, or I wouldn't live like this. It's like there's a fear there where I feel that I'm watching, um, like I'm experiencing wasted time. Uh, And that feels um, shameful to me. I feel the shame that I feel so frustrated instead of instead of feeling tender with them. And then secondly, I need to face that when I want them to change, I'm often trying to relieve my own discomfort, um, and not just their pain. Um, you know, I'm thinking that if the faster that they get better, the um, faster this will be behind us. And then the third thing is I move into the future instead of staying present. So, my patience will become short, and before I know it, I'm rushing them. Internally, I'm really rushing them. But I'm fighting it. I'm fighting. I'm trying my best to fight it. But I'm pushing them, and it's a pretty firm push when it gets down to it. And I start to feel anxious for something to resolve. On a certain timeline, um, instead of trusting their timing. So I'm working it. I'm really trying to work through it. I'm aware of it so that I can move from unintentionally pulling back, instead of staying present, um, instead of staying right in it with them. I even start to feel lonely, like I'm carrying more than they seem to be carrying, and then I start to feel the exhaustion of repeating myself. It's like I'm saying it again and again, without seeing the kind of shift that I want to see. So that makes me feel exhausted. So basically, it's me facing my sense of usefulness, um, or the lack of feeling useful. Um, and that lack of feeling useful is tied to movement, it's tied to progress, and it's tied to being a part of the solution. I like things to be nice and neatly packaged, and I like to move a thing from point A to B all the way down until it's finished, and until it's done, until it's accomplished, till it's completed. Um, and I think that rushing is just. I also hear that it's a. I've heard somebody say in a small group that I was in that rushing is a. What is it? It's a part of it's a part of white supremacy. But I'll tell you, I know it's a part of it's a feature of white supremacy. And I'll tell you, I know it's a part of it's something that I do to myself. And if that's so, then I'm guilty. I am definitely guilty as charged. Uh and so when I'm not useful to the people that I love, um, I start to wonder really if I can contribute, if I'm mattering at all. Um, I even feel the sting that their growth just might happen without me. If I don't, if I'm not right in there, hands on, moving their lives from A to B all the way out. And that's really not my place. That's really not my place. So as I've been sitting with all of this, I'm starting to see that this isn't really about them being slow. I think it's about how hard it is for me to stay present when nothing feels like it's moving. This feels more like my relationship with waiting, with helplessness, with not being needed. And I'll be honest, I don't have this figured out. I mean, you can see the tension and the stress on my face around it. Um, but it's something that I really do think that the people around me deserve. I know I deserve it. I've deserved it at times. Um, it's been helpful to me at times, and I want to be able to give that to other people that I love. So what I know is, and I don't have this figured out, but what I know is, I don't want my love to turn into pressure, and I don't want my discomfort to decide how present I'm being or willing to be. Um, with others. So for now, I'm just putting it out there. I'm just calling calling it like I see it. Um, and I'm going to practice staying. And I'm going to practice staying without trying to fix them. Um, and without making them responsible for what's a bit hard for me. All right. So I hope that made sense enough. I hope there was something that you can resonate with. Um, and if you can, and if you feel like it, let me know. I'm always up for having a deep discussion about how to move forward at the pace that we want, for the life, for a life that we love. So take care of yourselves. I'm glad you could join, and I will see you. I don't think I said this is Minty Ray, and I make videos about holding space. How about that? I make videos about holding space for people that I love and so many other things that as it relates to menopause and midlife. And if that's something you can relate to, then you have found your space. Let's grow together. And if there's something that you want to talk through, and if there's something that I can help you process by sharing my own wounds and my own vulnerabilities, so that you can see that you're not alone, then I am slow to say, but I'm because happy to do it is not the word, but willing to do it for the sake of um, of us um, creating a life that we love. All right, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you the next time.